Do we start?
Yeah.
It's 2 dudes. Do you know 5 Dicks on a Stick Productions?
Yeah.
Is that too much?
There's more dicks. I think.
There's more
6,
more
yeah.
dickies.
So all the times that you were
No disrespect.
producing your own stuff,
It's fine.
Yeah.
if you were
Disrespect 'em.
making basically like $30 a set and like negative money, would you hire 3 producers, fly them out here, and do this hoping that somebody sees your stuff?
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this week. Can I get an intro? Jesus Christ. What? Are you fucking that? Good to see, buddy. No, I wouldn't.
I love you.
I don't understand what you're doing, but I do like.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Kennedy, the great Jamie
Kennedy, everybody.
the great.
I'm really emo today, so I'm gonna be really crazy.
All right, tell us what happened.
No,
What's wrong?
I'm doing really well in life. You know,
Mhm.
things are like we took a turn, and not that I was doing bad before, but like where I should be, I'm like these levels now. I'm hitting this stuff right, like and just stupid shit, but good shit. Like financially, I'm making more money. My socials are starting to take off.
Do you want to chip in on the house?
Yeah.
I'm starting to sell more shows, so things are going good. But with that comes a cockier attitude of "I told you so." So now my what's the word? My tolerance is a lot less. So if I'm
For people in general.
so if I'm aggressive,
You're like, I'm
apologize.
back. Fuck you guys.
Ish, yeah.
Mm.
And I just did a drip last night. I don't know if you know what that is, but it
Yeah,
fucking-
we're
Morphine.
that would knock me
Oh,
out.
I thought you meant like my boss shoes, my drip.
Your drip is dope. So anyway, I'm gonna be emo, so be ready. But you're
Okay.
like, please come, and I love you.
You
dude.
felt bad for me, yeah.
No, I love you. Like I remember when COVID, we were deep in it, and I played my first golf game, not in my life, but during COVID, because like you can't go near anybody. And another comedian took me out with another comic, and I was talking to you from the 19th hole, and you were like, "It's over, dude. It's over." And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You go, it's just over. No one gives a fuck about Hollywood. No one gives a fuck about it's live online. Keep posting. Because I started posting stuff,
Yeah.
and you're like, just post. And you like went off, and I was like looking at this beautiful vista. I'll never forget it. You don't even know you did this to me. It's at Satakoy, which is a beautiful country club out off of by Calabasas. And I'm looking out, and Chris Bader's like just kind of low key berating me, going, "It's over, dude. Traditional Hollywood. No one gives a fuck." And that was in the summer of 2020, about 2 years ago. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Chris.
Dude,
So,
I know what you're talking
Yes.
about, but I didn't know I could have an effect on you.
well, because I was the COVID and everything that's happening, and the disruption was taking place, which is now happening even more, and the perspective and just all this shit that's going on in Hollywood. That it was a perfect moment.
Yeah.
So you kind of fucking.
It was one of those moments where you were like, God, this caddy is really chatty. Why does he keep telling me to post on social media?
Caddy.
You're giving
Batty.
$5. You're like,
Bader,
what the fuck?
Batty. Bader. All right. Anyway, I'll let you guys start. I'm sorry.
No,
this is
we
great.
started.
We
you
started.
you
So
feel
let-
like you're doing a Make-A-Wish right now, sort of?
Wow.
You're like
I'm
reaching
texting
out.
this guy because they're so excited, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking text him again, dude. Like, he's my friend. I'm not gonna ask him. They're like, well, is he coming? We gotta have the schedule.
Are we friends?
If I got,
It's a big word. I consider you a really cool acquaintance. I like you, though. I can talk to you very quickly. If I don't see you for 5 years, I can catch up with you. Even though I don't know, I've having a lot of time with you on Earth. Like, you're somebody I relate to. Like, you're a pained individual. So
I think we should get back
respect that.
together.
I know. We never broke up. It's just like, here's what you did. You did some shows for me in the early 10s, was it?
No, it
the
was
2020,
2013.
the 2013s.
It was my second year.
Okay, wow. And then you really hooked me up. I was like, I feel like I need truffle. And you're like, I got you. Like, you were literally.
I was doing whatever I could. Every headliner who'd go through.
And
the
that's a
club.
big deal for anyone listening if you care about comedy. And I'm not outrageous with my request, but you really took care of me. And I was like, this is incredible. This guy's really. So that was a huge plus that people. You need to teach people. And then I didn't see you for a while. And then I went back to Chicago and started playing the Bergs. But you were kind of already doing your own thing. And then I saw you during the vid, and you were like showing me like Instagram pictures, and you were on some weird ass boat in Miami. And I'm like, what? Did this guy come up on loot? Is he a crypto bro? Like, what is he? You're like, it's Miami, dude. It's Miami, bro. It's fucking five heaven. I'm here with fives.
Well, if you add them.
Yeah. 2 5s.
No, it was funny because at this time, it was the Laugh Factory in Chicago, and Jamie came through, and they had just started the club, and I was just so excited for every headliner come through. They'd make me the house MC. I had like 4 minutes, and some headliners were dicks, and the ones that were dicks weren't good or funny like him. Like he was nice, and
the ones that were dicks aren't on your pod.
No, I don't talk to him. But I remember he was starving, and the Laugh Factory had nothing. They had like popcorn, and I worked at a bar that had a turkey burger that was really good, and it was down the street. So I called. I was like, yo, Jamie Kennedy needs a turkey burger. I need you guys to help me out. And they're like, okay. So I brought him the food.
Kennedy. Added to Kennedy.
Kennedy's a big thing.
But the burger was bomb. The burger was fucking bomb.
What do you like on a turkey burger?
Honestly, cheese, the bun, like everything. It was like the bun was like buttered and toasted, but it was
cheese and bun.
It was so good, dude, and I was so hungry, and I did like 75 press outlets to try, and Jamie's like, buddy, I got you.
excuse me, biggest star in the country.
I got you, and so he was like, because I had a deal with him, right?
Yeah, some
I don't wanna
billboard
get
on
in trouble.
Sunset. No, dude, we have.
So
100
I had a
listeners.
deal. God, okay. So Jamie's like, buddy, do you want to? I have to do it.
No.
I have to work on the impression. But
He's
he's
like,
like,
excuse
it's
me,
good.
Jamie Kennedy's is here, the biggest star in Hollywood. I have a billboard with him.
so he put a billboard behind 47th and Broadway in
Okay.
New York, and he's like, "Would you like billboard?"
Dude,
And
you're one
I'm
of the
like-
greatest impressions of all time. And you're the worst.
I
Jamie
know.
Masada
I
impression.
know.
I know he's Russian.
Yeah, he's Russian. And I'm like, yeah, I would. And he's like, behold. And like, and somehow he got more Russian. Behold.
My son.
Anyway, my fucking billboard was up. And I'm like, did you did that? And he's like, body. But I don't know if it was already up there or whatever. Long story boring is, by having this billboard on 47th and Broadway, which was a big billboard off the New York Expressway, but it was kind of behind certain buildings, it was cool. And he's like, 2 years, I have you, 2 years. Any city, I have you only me. So that's when I did the New York Laugh Factory, which I don't think you ever remember.
No, I wasn't even in comedy then.
Incredible. It was an old show world.
Oh, it was good. It was a good room.
Incredible. It was 6 rooms. It was 4
shit.
a.m.
Okay.
You've got real Russians and tech bros and pimps and hooks and Bill Dawes. And all of us, but you got so good because you worked room to room to room, and you would do 7 shows. And
that would make you a monster because you go to every room and
incredible. And then from there, then he extended it to the Laugh Factory, and he's like, do Chicago for me. So that's how I started doing that, and I love him, and he's one of the people that gave me breaks in this business. But that's how I started at Chicago. So it was only like I eat what you kill, meaning I only had a piece of the door. So that's why I was like, in the beginning, I wasn't making tons of money because we were just starting the club.
But dude, like you taught me so much shit just that weekend because at the time I was 18 months in, and you have your merch out.
I like
and
that
you
it goes
have
6 months down every time. You're like, I was only 2 years in.
No,
Yeah!
at the Laugh
Notice
Factory.
that?
At the Laugh Factory.
Fucking
What's that?
liar.
So I've been doing comedy for 13 years, and I had 4 minutes.
Come on.
What's that?
Come on, buddy.
I was 8 months in.
So I'm 2 weeks in. It's
my second
Jamie
show.
Kennedy shows up. I'm at the open mic.
Low key.
I'm at the open mic. So he looks at the crowd. It was like a half full room, and he's like, "Do you see what this guy's doing?" Because the feature was on stage, and he's like, "They just want to be talked to." I didn't understand that. It took me 13 years later to understand that. But he's like, they just want to be talked to, and I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Look, you can't do your jokes right now because there's just not enough of them. They're not having fun. Like everything he said, I kept, like I held on to. And he's like, these are the people who are my fans, and this is, you can tell. He's like, and then the merch, you got to have merch. And I was just like, okay. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I
dude.
appreciate
it.
that.
It meant a lot to me because
Thank
guys
you.
would come through. Dom Herrera, too, said one of the funniest things. He's like, because I was so nervous when Dom was there. I was shaking with the microphone, my voice be like, ah! And Dom says, hey, Chris, why don't you wait till I'm in the room and then introduce me? And I was like, oh. And then I was like, Dom, what are your credits? What should I say? And he said, just say we went to high school together. And like that fucking guy was like the G, and then I would come back, and Jamie's like, he's like, buddy, he's like, come on, hey, Hollywood, you come for a week and put you up, and he's putting me on like all these shows in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. And I saw Dom, and he was nice to me. And then 6 years ago, I saw Jamie, and you could tell you were working because you had like a notebook out, and like you were there. I think you were with some other Hollywood people, but it was good to see you too. And you're like, hey, I'm glad you're still doing it. And it was like just. It's like a good feeling, like that kind of person. And during COVID, I was living by myself, like a lot of people, just looking out the window, and I was like, "This is over. Like it's it. This is what are we gonna do?"
He. How can I say this? You got one of the best meme games. That's all I'm gonna say. So you would just randomly send me something at 1 a.m. and it's pretty great memes.
Yeah.
And so I would respond to you.
Dude, it was so awesome
Was
because
he sending you the? I kept getting the giant dong one from him.
well,
That's
that
what
guy
I
got
kept
us
getting.
through a lot. Let's not bring him
Uh,
up. And he's no longer with us.
He's doing really?
Yeah,
Wood.
He passed away.
He passed away a long time ago.
All the blood went from his head, and he was gone.
Wait, did he pass away before COVID?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
dead. We were all
We're
laughing
passing
to a
around
dead guy.
dead dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I
God
think-
rest his soul.
We didn't.
He
know
was
it.
doing God's work.
He really was.
He was from heaven watching over us.
But
honestly.
he was the leader once that caught on, and I don't want any disrespect to his family for real. Like God rest his soul. But
We'll do a Make-A-Wish for them.
you fucking got passed that around, but you were kind of the meter. I was getting wood from like 4 different people, and you and my other friend Stu were right there on what was the most current wood. So, and I think you sent me the one. Well, you look on the kaleidoscope, or you keep looking and you keep looking, and then it's a dick. Yeah.
And
it's a humongous cock.
You feel like
So,
defeated too.
Yeah, you're like keep doing it, but you were ahead of other.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drop names, but some really good names that you beat. You're not drunk, are you? You
No.
used to drink a lot.
I haven't had one drink.
You're not drink now, are you? Stop.
I drink. I'm not drinking right now.
I haven't drank in a while.
I know. I saw that. I was so
I'm not
happy for you.
sober, but I'm not. I haven't drank. Honestly, because I think it makes you fucked up.
Dude, you have a good perspective on it. Tell us, because it's been 3 years you haven't drank.
4.
4. But how much were you drinking like when you were in your late 40s, early 40s? How much were you drinking? 3 days a
I'll
week?
try to give you an abridged version.
All right, got it.
So grew up in Philly. That was the only thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, Eagles, all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
And you're
Chicago.
drinking like, it's the same. It's very similar to Chicago. And you're doing, tall boys. You guys have those like old Milwaukee. So, long story boring.
Only
Then
drinks.
I moved to LA, and I was so focused that I didn't really drink much at all. Then when I started getting successful, it took me about 6 years to start breaking in. I didn't even drink, but it was more like a rap party, or cast dinners, or, hey, come to this premiere. And so I started getting success, and I'm like, I can enjoy myself. But it was more like high-end, like martini. I never had a martini before. So then I did that on and off for at least, 10, 12 years. It's just, occasions. And then when I started hitting comedy hardcore, I mean, I do the Friday show, Saturday show,
It's hard not to. Though.
It's hard not to.
Well,
Especially you have a great set and then people want to hang out.
Chicken
Or if
fingers.
you have a bad set and
people,
you're like,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. There's a reason to drink always.
And so then I started I'm like, this is a slippery slope. So then I would only start drinking maybe after the Saturday show because I would be wrecked. And then I slowed that down. And then I was like, well, and then I got into this whole foodie thing probably in 2014 where I would just drink really big beer. I love beer. So I would drink a thing called Duvel, and I would drink tons of Belgians, and I would drink 2 of them, and they're not like being drunk, they're like being high.
Yeah.
And they're fucking probably 1,000 calories a beer. Like they're insane. And I would do that and just like, but it was like, oh, I have this amazing like hamburger.
Yeah.
Duvel or all this
Turkey
craft,
burger.
all
Turkey
that like
burger.
remember the craft brews and all that
Yeah.
run. So
Yeah,
LA was
still
full,
around.
yeah, all that stuff. And the next thing I know, I'm 200 pounds and I'm like on screen doing something. I see myself on TV and I look like a fucking baked potato, and I'm like, that's weird. So
That
long
was
story
disrespectful to
baked
him.
potatoes.
He's Irish and he's
All right, dude. Bro, that's weird. Stop it. He's fine.
we make fun of each other in every pod.
I know, but I don't know the guy. Look at that. Jesus Christ. He's like, here's our baked potato. Like, stop it. Look, do what you want to do. Listen, long
Do whatever
story
you wanna
boring
do.
is I started to do it because I wanted to look good, and I did 2 months, which was hard because I was having a drink probably every night. Not
See, I'm
ten-
not.
No, but like a glass of red wine with Italian
sure.
meal, or
I
a
do
meat,
that.
But I
or a
just can't have one.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah. My perspective is, if you want to go really deep, it numbs us out and makes us not our best selves. I hate to sound like a nerd because I love it. I love had some great times with the Cubby Bear. I've done all this stuff, but I've lived. Okay, so. Meaning, like, I'm more productive than ever, I'm more creative than ever, and I'm using all the insanity, which alcohol kind of, like, doled out, and doing multiple things. That's my opinion. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go out, have a White Claw, do whatever you want. But that, for me, and I feel better. I get up.
You have to feel.
I feel like people were punching me in the face after 2 beers, but I was, mid-40s, which you shouldn't feel like that. But people should do what they want. I don't think, I'm not sober. But there is something to alcohol making us.
Does it jam you up if you go on like dates and stuff? Because like that person's drinking, or there's the awkward tension that you kind of want to break.
Well, I have a girl, so I haven't had to worry about that. But yeah, I can see how people do that. But there's a ton of people not drinking now. I don't know if you noticed that. There's
Yeah.
like
These
kind
guys
of a
don't drink.
mo-
These 2 don't drink.
Wow, your whole
And-
life, or is this a new thing? Yeah, so I think the newer generation, I don't even know if they do mushrooms or anything.
No,
Like,
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
you don't-
They're sharp as hell.
And
And I always
they-
say you can't do it.
And I don't think, and I think they're probably tuned in because of like what I'm saying. It's like there's so much stimuli now and so much we can do, and like I hate to sound like a nerd, bro, but it's like you do get high off of life. There's so much to do, and I'm not I took CBD the other night to sleep, and a fucking normal gummy that you buy at CVS, and I was like, so I don't even know, but. Listen, I think drinking is an older version of people altering their minds, and I think it's going to change because I think a lot of people are over it.
Yeah, it's the kind of like the.
It fucking
There's
hurt.
a wave. There's a wave.
Dude, it just like the skin and the fucking bloating. You know what I'm saying?
It takes up a lot of your time too.
It does, but also you just see, like, if you do shows,
Yeah.
you'll see the most annoying people. No offense, but usually women in their 40s. We've known Karens way before Karens. I call them the white wine warriors, the triple dubs, because they get 2 in them, 2 Franzias, and they think they know everything. So,
Oh my
but
God,
those are the
yellers.
worst people to deal with.
You're about to have the biggest breakthrough ever, in my opinion.
How do you know?
Because I'm watching you online, and I'm like, this is what I want to fucking see. I was like, dude, and I
Wow.
yell at these guys. I'm like, look at his fucking clips. Look at what he's saying. He doesn't care. The governor's off. And I was like, this is the moment where these guys go to the next level. Burr had that. Guys have that. And I'm just like, I'm excited to see your stand-up, actually. I'm like, because this guy doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's done with Hollywood. Hollywood's dead. Is Hollywood dead? Seriously. Serious question.
You're in
That-
like 7 movies a year though, aren't you?
Ish. It's down to like
I mean,
3
it's a
now.
lot.
What's online done in
But
Hollywood?
let me ask you a question. There's 2
Yeah.
questions there. There's
Good,
like,
go ahead.
you got to go back. So wait, who do I answer first? See. So let me ask you a question. Are you seeing that many movies come out normally though? Do you hit the movie theater as much as you used to?
No, not at all.
So do you agree that most people don't as much?
I think there's people that are really into it and like that's what they do. And those people kind of fill the gap of like all the people that don't go as casually anymore. But there's like super fans that are like, I'm gonna go every week.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
cinephiles and
Yeah.
MCU heads and stuff. Well, it's changed because there's not. I'm trying to answer this one slowly. It's okay. So, Disney had multiple companies. So there's Disney there's Disney Pictures, right? And there was something called Hollywood Pictures. I don't know if you remember them. There's something called Buena Vista Pictures. So they would make 12 to 15 movies a year. Plus they own Miramax and Dimension. So Scream is on the Dimension arm, okay? At the time, I would go out for 3 movies sometimes a day. And so you would go out for Biodome. You would go out for Can't Hardly Wait. You would go out for these $9 to $12 million movies.
Yeah.
And there would be one singular star. And then, there was a small group of us, and we would all audition. And you would get a movie, and next week you'd be in Atlanta for 2 months, having a time of your life, and boom, and the movie would come out. So it was an $8 million spend, $8 million budget. They make $30 million, boom. And that was a thing that we lived on for years. And I kind of look at the Avengers as the MCU model is where they took multiple movie stars. Instead of making one $30 million movie, they would make a $300 million movie with 10 30s, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So anyone who would star in a $30 million movie became one of that. So they made monster movies.
They're building like super teams.
100,000%. Exactly. Just same with the LeBron and the Lakers, all that stuff. So it's the same model. So, it's a different market now. Disney, I think, makes 9 movies a year total across their whole thing.
Damn.
So as you used to make 50. So that's just different. So, but it goes into what? It goes into streaming. It goes to Disney Plus. It goes into all the stuff. So it's still happening, just different distributions. That's number one. To answer your question, is Hollywood dead? I really would have to pose it back to you because I want to make sure I'm answering it because how I feel, my perspective is different than yours. But I believe the fact that you said it is already making it so. So how can I say this? I talk about this on my channel all the time. The distribution was only the 405. Does this make sense to you? The 405 is one freeway, and let's just say that's big media. That's ABC. Well, then you've got the exits. So it's Snapchat, it's TikTok, it's Reels, and people are blowing the fuck. It's Tubi, it's fucking Pluto. It's everywhere you can get content is putting what we call geysers off the freeway. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So instead of the water just going one way and if it be picked and it's the biggest geyser, now there's all these little pathways. These things are all growing. So is traditional Hollywood dead? I believe so. In the simplest answer, the Golden Globes were 5 million viewers, the lowest it's ever been. There's a lot of movies nominated this year. I know 3 of them for the Oscars. It'll be fascinating to see what the Oscars are. I think general pop is like, I'm sick of Hollywood's preaching. That's part of it. I think people like you guys are like, I can do my own thing. You used to look up to people and go, ooh, I want to do what he does. How do I do it? Now you're like, I'll do it better. That's how people are, right? Yeah. They're like almost aggressive with it. And I can't tell some chick on TikTok who's 22 years old that has 2 million more followers than me. I can't tell her what to do. She's going to be like, fuck you, old man, right? But doesn't mean their content's going to be what I call legacy content. Will they have things that will last for 30 years? Will they become a real name, or will they become just a rich
flash in the pan?
Yeah, I don't even want to say that, though, because there's people that can keep turning it over. But, yeah, traditional Hollywood, to me, I think is done. I think people are always going to, what's the word? Consume their IP, meaning they're going to consume legacy things like Marvel. They're going to consume the DC universe. They're going to consume
Avatar.
Yeah, great, Christopher Nolan movies. But in a nutshell, you're also going to see mukbangs. And it's going to just, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean it's going to be in 25 years now we're going to be talking like the mukbang Hall of Fame. Maybe, I don't know. What I'm saying is that's just taking attention away and people are making money at it. I mean, if you have a vagina and you're not making $4,000 a month somehow, it's embarrassing. Like, I wish I had a fucking clip. The money I would make. Like, it's insane. Like, these women are just like
I'd have two. I'd get surgery to have one in the middle of my back, too.
Yeah,
I'd
back
have one
vagina.
here.
What did Ari Spears? He said he got a scholarship between your legs. That's what his joke was.
Brilliant. And that's not a diss. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
like you're so many women that you don't even know. Forget OnlyFans on Twitch. And so it's like, and
Oh,
listen.
yeah, the hot gamers. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing. But do you agree with what I'm saying? Like it is traditionally. I think it's just the legacy stardom is done, in my opinion.
Well, I would say even like the way stand-up works, like because we both got into it probably what. I mean, I feel like I've been doing it like 14 years, 13 years.
2 weeks
something like
ago,
that.
he said.
Yeah, and he's
8 months ago for
he's
me.
probably
8 months.
about like 6 months in now.
8 months ago for me, yeah.
But it was like, everybody was big, be quiet, get good. Like, don't worry about anything. Just worry about keep your head down, be nice to people, get good. And then your hard work someone will see your hard work and it will pay off. And it's like, that is literally the worst advice you could give somebody right now.
Wait,
Dude,
tell
Austin-
me why, and I'll tell you why. Back to you.
I think you should just pump out as much stuff as you can right now and just like see what works for you. And if that doesn't work, rebrand, try it on, like just do it again. Like who cares?
So let me piggyback on that. It's so true because my way is not your way,
Yeah.
right? And when I came up, it was Arsenio,
Yeah.
The Tonight Show,
Yeah.
Letterman, and then Conan,
Yeah.
and then Comedy Central. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And so you had to fight for one of those spots. That's number one. And then once you're on one, boom, you fucking get either you have enough material to headline or you're a big feature and then you build your way up. That's completely different now, obviously, as you know. But I tell people all the time 2 things. Build your audience up.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just build your audience up. That's it. Build your fucking little army up. And number 2, I put out all my content. I try to make the best version of it and then put it out because I think the special's done. And I think you have to be first to marketplace because there are like comics in Ohio or wherever that are like, Jimmy Carlin did this. I did that bit at Joey's Rib House. And it's like, motherfucker, where's the bit? Like, so I put my shit out so I know it's out.
Yeah.
So it's like people I've never heard of. I'm not saying they're not great and they're not amazing, but they try to say this shit. So it's like I don't think we have the time nor the luxury to craft a special and wait for it because I don't even know what it's going to do for you. There's other comics just blowing up off of clips.
Yeah.
So that's all you would need to do. And it's like, yes, I agree with you. Same thing. It's a totally different world now. But the problem with comedy is there's no barrier to entry.
None.
Which
we used to have
I don't mind it. Like I can't tell. I'm not the god. I'm not the boss. Like do whatever you want if it's working for you. But I do hate it when people don't know. Like if I see Bill Burr today, I put my head down. I'm like, hey Bill. Like I respect and I came up like right under his class. You know what I'm saying? But he's a god. He's our modern day god. Okay. So, but there are open micers now that are a year in and go, let me tell you about guys like you and me. So.
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
And I'm like, yo, dude. And I would say I have a pretty good rep, right? So then I have to act big time where I'm like, oh, wow, okay. But like the delusion is insane.
Yeah.
Okay, like when I was telling somebody the other day, like when I was in the improv one night, I remember Roseanne Barr over here, Jerry walking out, George Wallace talking, Alan coming downstairs, and George Lopez doing a set. That was on Tuesday night in '92. Yeah. What would these open micers or people do now? Like, let me tell you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I did?
Hey, George,
I was there for the sign up. You had to sign up a week before to try to get your name. And I put my fucking head down. I was so freaked out. So I'm a big respect guy. I'm a believer of time. But listen, if someone has a huge audience a year in, God bless them.
Nothing you can do about it,
Yeah, and I'm just saying I would still respect. If I was that person with the audience, I would still respect somebody that I thought was great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a different world. And the only reason is I just hate when people put comedian or something on their thing. When I never said that shit until I made way over 6 figures. Like, I never said I was an actor. I never said I was a comedian. But I didn't have social media then, and I wouldn't have said it. I just said, I always told people I moved to L.A. for the weather.
So you can't be a comedian unless you make 6 figures.
No, I'm not even saying that. That's if you make $50, you're a comedian.
What about 4 figures, Jamie? With some chicken fingers.
I don't mean that as a diss, but you know what I'm saying.
No, if you go up and take the bullets, you're a comic. But
people
recognize what kind of comic you are when you start saying shit like that.
that's. But again, I mean, there's no barrier to entry, and there's. Listen, you got me good talking. So there's clubs in this country right now. I will go on a weekend, and let's say I sell 900 tickets out of like 1,500. Which
Damn,
is,
that's a lot.
It's not terrible. It's like 60%, right? $25, $30 a ticket, whatever, right?
That's what you're doing right now, basically.
Well, I'm doing a little more than that now. I'm usually about 70% of capacity, right?
You need a feature.
We can talk about it.
Right.
So if I go
acquaintances,
the acquaintance tour.
Dude, you heard it here first. We're blowing up.
But I'll never forget this. It was a really good club. It's really respectable, and it's a club where you get good at. And on a Monday night, there was a YouTuber that fucking sold 2 shows on a Monday and wanted to add a third, but it was just like, I'll do it. So they did 4 shows, two Monday, 2 Tuesday. I'm not going to tell you who they are. And beyond sold out at like $55 a ticket. Like, crushed my gate by 5 or 6 times. And I'm like, dude, why don't you put them on the weekend? Like, I'll do the fucking Monday. And he's like, because I still want to be known as a comedy club. And I was like, wow. And so there's these clubs out there, and there's a lot of them that still brand themselves as the place. They want to have a barometer of good. Doesn't mean that person isn't good and won't sell. They'll take the money, but they're not ready to call them, because on the weekend they're going to put what they call real comedy. It doesn't mean that they're not comedy. It just
We're
means
a
they're
theater
not.
now. Yeah.
Yes. And so I was like, wow. And at first I was like, dude, but he was like, no. And so I see that happen a lot. And I mean, and then eventually if people care, they're going to fucking get better, and they don't even need the weekend. But it's fascinating to see. And that was like, clubs respect the art of it in that way. And I think it's beautiful.
The game has changed.
Yeah, but it has changed. I can't say anything. Money talks and bullshit smells like your upper lip. Definitely your upper lip.
One last question. Family.
Oh God.
No, I gotta ask, because I'm going through it right now. We're talking about serious shit for a second.
Serious, okay.
Okay. I just turned 40.
Yeah.
I wanted to have kids, based on like my mom and dad. I wanted them to see the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be hanging for too long. I don't have anyone to have them with yet, and I'm just like in the grind of like, you want to do comedy, you want to do things, you want to do all this shit, and then you're just like, in putting it off.
What's the question?
Do you want to have a family?
Were you asking for me or for you?
No, I'm saying, like, is there a point where you think, if you look back 20 years ago, like at that point would have been a good point to do it, or no? So it's kind of advice.
I never woke up thinking I'm gonna get married. Do you know any guy that's like, I can't wait to plan my wedding. I hope we have Nutella. Like people in the straight world. Do you know what pimps are?
Yeah. I used to go to pimps and hoes parties in college.
Okay. Do you know what squares are?
Squares are people who are not pimps.
Yeah.
Right?
So pimps look at the rest of the world as squares.
Okay.
So if you look at pimp business etiquette, it's a really good etiquette for life, because there's a lot of people that use it. It's the same thing. So squares are just like what we would call like a Wall Street dude, or a guy who went to medical school, or they're in the normal lane of existence.
Okay.
They're not a pot dealer that'll make $40,000 a day.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or an actor or a comedian. So I never subscribed to the square game. I was always like, what about me? What am I going to do? I'm self-involved. I call myself a loving narcissist. Like I could always do more I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. The youngest of 6 kids, all that shit, right? So it's probably built into me. So do I think about kids like they're sweet and they're cute, but am I dying to have a family? No.
Because that's the square game, kind of.
It's not square. It's beautiful, but it's like the way you said something was a teeny bit of the. I don't mean the diss. This is not a diss, but the square world of like you wanted to have kids for your parents. Like, what about you?
Yeah.
Don't you want to live your life? What's your dreams? What gets you up at night? I love kids, but it's like I'd rather fucking be able to go to Aruba in a day.
I like Aruba.
Yeah, instead of just going, oh, I got a kid. I can't go to Aruba. I got a kid. You know what I'm saying?
We should go together.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. See, what you're doing right now is you're taking the tone. You said something serious, and I give you a serious answer, and then you're joking with it.
So I had that
what
problem
do you want?
That's
your issue.
My whole life.
Yes, I know. So, do you want to have kids? That's up to you, bro. But it's like the world's fucking crazy. What do you want to have? What are you gonna do with a kid? You're fucking 40, bro. You're 18 in your mind, if that. You're probably a minor. You're underage.
I'm underage in my mind. I'm 15.
How old are you in your head? Be real.
19.
I don't even think I'm. I think I'm 13. Meaning that like I kind of probably stopped progressing once I got my Atari 2600. For those who know. You know what I'm saying?
When I got Sega Genesis,
like playing Dig Dug. And being able to order Domino's, you know what I mean? Like that type of 30 minutes or less, and like John Hughes movies. That's kind of where I'm at. And now I've made enough money to be able to live that life. But listen, I don't know. Do you want to? You're not, bro. You're a guy that loves to go out. You love to party. You love to get 2 5s and call it a 10. You love carbs. You love doing shots. You love fucking getting your fucking noodle fucking touched. You're
this turned into a tarot card reading.
You're gonna be in a minute. You're gonna be 50. Like you're 40 now. Like the next.
That's how fast it goes by.
Well, in 6 years, I think no offense to the lawyer, but ChatGPT just passed the bar. So like jobs are gonna go away. The last thing that I think is gonna be disrupted is the artistic stuff because there will be funnier AIs than you and I. But do people want to go to a club and socialize with it? Hopefully they'll still want some real. So I think our fucking world is going to completely change in the next 5 years. So do you want to bring a kid into that?
No. Not even a dog.
Bro, not even a dog. Bro, look at you. You're ready to go to Miami right now. If I said right now, if I put 4 rails in front of you at Live Nightclub in Miami, and I put 3 threes in front of you, or I said, go burp that baby.
This has been Jamie Kennedy, the great Jamie Kennedy with Kyle and Baubak on the Baubak Podcast. Thank you.